Welcome everyone to another enlightening episode of Healing Pathways, Navigating Transformation with Juanita. I'm your host, Henry Woodcock. Joining me is a transpersonal therapist and founder of Energy Gateways, Juanita Puddifoot. Today we're exploring the second training module of Deep Memory Process. The full title of this module is Death Transition and Working with the Spirit Realm. Joining us is our expert and qualified DMP practitioner and trainer, Juanita, who will shed light on the key components covered in this module. Welcome, Juanita. Could you start by explaining what this module covers?
Hi, Henry. So, obviously from the title, you can hear that this module is focused on the influences from past lives and ancestral residues. The reason for this is that the characters in these have a lifetime span and a death, rather than working with a person's current memories from this lifetime. This module focuses on the huge subject of the unseen realm, the resources that are available, such as the spirit helpers, guides, teachers and healers. And we also cover the different types of death and what happens to the spirit of that character during death and beyond, regarding any thoughts, emotions, any physical residues that may get stuck energetically.
That sounds incredibly detailed. Could you elaborate on how these different types of deaths might affect someone emotionally and spiritually?
Of course. For instance, a slow death from a plague or illness, the person's thoughts, emotions will change over the period of time they're dying, such as experiencing disbelief at their situation, maybe anger at the loss of control of their life, including grief of leaving loved ones. The difference with a quick death, for instance, like being shot in a battle scene, the character may not even be aware that they are dying, so they are so engaged with what is happening around them, the sounds, the loud cannon, the shouts of other soldiers. The character may be experiencing adrenaline coursing around their body. Their thoughts are on getting to the other side and staying alive. Their focus is so intense that they cannot feel the shot that kills them. Their spirit energy, their spirit body, carries on. In other words, carries on running or walking or pushing or going forward on the battlefield. And in actual fact, their physical body is on the ground, dead. These experiences shape the thoughts and feelings that are carried into the spirit realm. Understanding the varied dynamics of death and what happens to the spirit of the character when they go into the spirit realms and what we call the Bardos realms is essential for DMP therapists to guide their clients through the stories to enable healing.
And speaking of the spirit realm, you mentioned Tibetan philosophy and the Bardos states. How does this philosophy influence your work in DMP?
Tibetan Buddhist philosophy offers profound insights into what happens to the spirit after death. The Bardos states describe different stages the spirit of the person passes through after death, influenced by the unresolved issues from their life. Emotions like loss, betrayal, anger, or vengeance. In DMP, we explore those influences and teach practitioners how to work with clients to address and heal these spiritual vibrations. It's important to understand how various kinds of death impact the character, whether slow, such as from illness, famine, or quick due to accidents or violence. We explore the life of the ancestor or past life, including importantly the circumstances around their death. Then what happens to their spirit? For instance, does the spirit stay with the body, or does it wander around on the earth, or go somewhere else? Not all spirits, shall we say, move up to the higher realms of bliss and happiness and oneness. A lot are stuck repeating energies and repeating emotions from that life. DMP students need to have a good understanding of the complex nature of the effects of particular thoughts, phrases, emotions and physical residues. How to interact with the spiritual resources to help the character, and what healing can take place for the spirit. We teach students how to work with these varying scenarios in DMP, helping clients process past life residues and the death transition.
Fascinating. You mentioned spirit resources. What are these and how do you bring these to assist clients in their healing journey?
The spirit realm is full of helpful resources, and in some ways you could say there is a hierarchy of energies. from our loving ancestors who may have been healers or wise elders, or maybe our ancient ancestors were medicine people, to those spiritual teachers and guides. We can also call upon the energies of what we call paranormals. These are closer to the physical realm and have more earth-based awareness. When appropriate, we bring or call these spirit helpers in to be with a character, whether that's the ancestor or whether it's a past life, as they bring certain energetic qualities. For instance, when a past life character has been hurt by an adult, the character will tend to want to have an animal spirit as a helper, like a rabbit for love and comfort, or a tiger for protection and a sense of safety. In the stories that surface, there can be an imbalance of energies, such as victim-perpetrator, and they're stuck in that cycle. And bringing in a different energy, like a power animal, like a spiritual guide, a helper, an ancestor, can help to rebalance the story. They can bring strength, courage to change the stuckness of the residues and help move things forward. These resources provide support in various ways, aiding in the healing of a client's subtle body and helping them process their past life experiences and spirit transitions.
In the framework of the spirit realm and this module, could you outline what a spirit attachment is?
In DMP, there is a definition that a past life is actually part of the client's soul journey. Ancestor residues are connected to the client, but they were people who had lifetimes separate from the client. Spirit attachments are energies of either humans or from the natural world that do not belong to the client. They are in fact attached in some way, but separate. To give a case example, I worked with a female client who had a past life as a woman in a loveless marriage. Her husband treated her badly, he was a womanizer, and the wife died angry and hating her husband. This intense energy of hatred, which she carried on through the death and into the spirit realm, drove her spirit after death towards her husband, and she became a spirit attachment of energy to her husband. Then she was still covered and involved in and immersed in hatred and anger, and so she continued to scream, shout, and try to generally make her husband's life hell. And as we followed his life, he became a drunk and died. And he became a spirit. And then what revealed itself was that they were both stuck together and both attached to the client today.
This sounds complex. How did the session end and what happened?
In this case, we had to separate out the entwined energies. We followed the story of the woman, her death, and what did she do after death, her spirit. This led us to the attachment to her husband, and then we followed his life until his death. So then we had two spirits, one actually the client's past life and one that didn't actually belong to her. So then we had to help both parties gain awareness of their situation and help them understand this stuckness, and did they want to stay like this for eternity, and to help them actually move on. Importantly, we needed to help them let go of each other and be healed, which we did in this case. It took some time, but the husband and wife were able to move on, gain healing, and the client then felt a great sense of release.
You mentioned deaths in battle and other characters who are part of the past life story, the collective. Could you explain how you help the others in stories like this?
When working with past life stories, we help bring the memories to the surface for clients to remember. Sometimes a past life story is about a community. A village dies of famine, a group dies in an earthquake and are buried. A soldier dies on the battlefield where many others die together. So we work with the main protagonist in the story and we help them heal, transform, and then we focus on the others, the other characters in this story, how they died. There may be hundreds in the collective, so it's not possible to work with each individual. So in DMP, we learn techniques to work with groups of energies, explore what the main themes are and what requires resolving and healing.
I understand you also teach a life review in this module. How does that contribute to the healing process?
A life review is for all involved in the memories and stories, and to reflect on that. So that means the past life character, the ancestor or spirit attachments, as well as the client. This reflection is helpful to explore the themes that are mirrored in the story and the client's life today. By making conscious all the aspects of the story, the stuckness, the repeating nature of themes, the entangled nature of conflict and trauma, understanding the unresolved issues, this tends to bring a sense of relief and letting go. When the consciousness or spirit of the character really accepts that they are dead, that life is over, that they can be free now, healed, let go of carrying those intense thoughts and emotions and physical pains and residues, the whole energy of the story will dissolve and transform, which in turn will free the client today in their life to enable movement and release from the past.
Lastly, Juanita, you touched on the art of reconciliation in the Bardos realm. How does this technique aid in the healing process?
Well, it's a really important issue, reconciliation. It's vital for healing disconnections and unresolved relationships. Whether it's a lost loved one or unresolved anger, expressing these emotions in the spirit realm allows for integration and peace. For the main character in the story, if they feel alone, separated, unloved, reconciliation is essential to heal this disconnection, so they can be reunited with their family and loved ones. The whole focus in all the stories and for the client is to separate energies that do not belong to them, cleanse and transform these, then bring together fragmented parts of the client's soul for fostering wholeness and healing and transformation.
Well, this has been a truly enlightening discussion, Juanita. Thank you for sharing your insights on Deep Memory Process Training Module 2. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well, I welcome you all onto the training or to the workshops to learn more about DMP, but just a reminder that healing is a journey. By addressing past life residues and understanding the death transition, we can bring profound transformation and peace to our lives. Thank you for having me, Henry.
Juanita, thank you. I'm sure our listeners have gained valuable insights. To our audience, thank you for joining us on this journey into deep memory process. Until next time, this is Healing Pathways, Navigating Transformation with Juanita, signing off. Take care, and for more detailed information, visit the website energygateways.com or on YouTube search for Energy Gateways with Juanita.